And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Drama is unfolding within the National Black Lives Matter organization. A new lawsuit alleges leader Shalomyah Bowers has been pocketing donation money. Activists with the organization say he stole $10 million. $10 million. And that's not the only issue. I spoke to Ashton Woods, the founder of the separate Black Lives Matter group here in Houston. He says he's never seen a dime of donor money from the national chapter, and he didn't want it. And joining us here on The Factor Uncensored is Ashton Woods, who heads Black Lives Matter here in Houston. We want to make one thing absolutely clear. You guys here in Houston are not affiliated with the national chapter, right?
That's correct. We were never affiliated with the national chapter. We have not received funds from them or any assistance.
Now, when we hear the latest allegations about Mr. Bowers siphoning off $10 million in donations, are you at all surprised by this? Do you challenge this? Do you have concerns about it, Ashton?
The reality is that I do not challenge this, and I am not surprised by this. I think about a friend of mine who was a prominent activist from Ferguson who was ostracized and went through literal abuse and blackballing until she told her story. I also think about the BLM 10 who Black Lives Matter Houston BLM HOU stands in solidarity with, who originally left, and the plus, which includes BLM HOU, calling out the fact that if you were to be onboarded with Black Lives Matter Global Network, you had to go by their agenda, meaning if there were local issues that were to pop up, we can address that. And, you know, BLM HOU operates autonomously. We've done everything from write bills that have been passed into law. We've, you know, even with this, NRA protest that happened after the Uvalde shooting, that "Don't Look Away" title slogan went national. And we were able to use that to get a gun law passed on behalf of the children and teachers that were murdered in Uvalde, Texas. So we can't have someone who does not have a local idea of what's going on locally in these different cities and the different regional issues that may pop up dictating to us what we should be doing. And that's too organizational, and that's why we call it the Black Lives Matter movement. There's a difference between Black Lives Matter Global, right? And then also I want to make clear that when the BLM 10 started and when they split away from the global network, they started something called BLM Grassroots. And when BLM Grassroots started, it became more of the same, in that in order for you to be a part of BLM Grassroots, you still had to follow those same rules. They got some funds, but then money started coming up missing. So all that money, for example, when we led that protest in downtown Houston that had 60,000 people, people don't realize we got no donations. A lot of the stuff that we got no donations or help from BLM national, right? But locally, every time we do something, local activists and other groups that work with us, as you have seen in the past, have found ways in different restaurants and different groups in the city and even elected officials donate to us. For example, you know, we had hand sanitizer, we had masks, we had nurses. Those people volunteer and they give those items to us. We hardly ever have to spend money. So we've never really had to raise money with the exception of Hurricane Harvey or to get people out of jail. And I can tell you, we were all over the city helping people rebuild their houses, bringing supplies to churches and getting people diapers and tampons and food and things that were needed. And we weren't getting any money from that. Different groups got with us and we put teams together and we went to different areas that were hard hit. We never got any help. And I can tell you it's going to be the same story from different chapters across the country.
Is it ever distressing or disturbing when you know the national organization took in, according to some reports, more than $90 million after the death of George Floyd, who's from Houston, and then you hear reports of the money being squandered on personal items, on new homes, siphoning off donations? Are you disappointed in that? Is that distressing to you as a local group who's doing the work in the community?
The reality is that all I can focus on the people that I love right here in Houston. I came here with Katrina from New Orleans. I did work in New Orleans. I care about my Black people. I care about our allies. And we stand as allies to other groups who are marginalized like the AABI community. Yes, I'm disappointed.
We had to cut him off right there, because Woods made more shocking and explosive claims against the National Black Lives Matter organization that we also have to get their response to. We will continue that discussion with those allegations, and they're strong, next week. The Factor is the only place you can watch that.